Alright guys, it's been a while, but here's a battle against my opponent, Swampblaze, and this is a standard battle, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Anyway, so he leads with a Swampert, and I am going to lead with Jirachi. And I'm just going to trick because I thought it was a good play, but he predicts that really nicely. He goes out into a Heatran, who's a Scarf Heatran, which of course means my trick does nothing. So I have to switch. I go out into Gyarados because he's immune to Earth and resists Fire, but he goes for the Dragon Pulse, which is a pretty nice prediction, I guess. But it still doesn't do a whole lot to me. I'm going to get off a Dragon Dance as he goes out into Gengar. And I'm kind of thinking this thing is Scarfed or Focus Sashed, but you know, I decided just to risk it because, you know, the power gamer aspect of myself says, go for it, but he does have the sash, so that sucks. And he goes for the T-Bolt, and that's going to take down my Gyarados, so that kind of sucks, but, his Gengar is almost dead. So my Gyarados goes down. I'm just going to go back out into Jirachi, and I decide to go for the Stealth Rocks just to set them up, and if he switches, you know, that's a dead Gengar. But he decides to stay in, I guess, predicting the Stealth Rocks. Pretty good play, and he goes for the Will-O-Wisp, and that's going to burn my Jirachi. So I go out into Heatran, not fearing the Shadow Ball or the Will-O-Wisp, and he goes for the Shadow Ball this turn, doesn't do anything to me, and I'm just going to go for the Hidden Power now just to finish this thing off. And this is Hidden Power Ice, which means he's obviously going to go out into his Heatran now, and I have to switch. So I go out into Latias, figuring he's going to try to Earth Power, and he does, which is awesome, and Latias is pro like that. So I go for the Calm Mind on the switch. He ends up going into Skarmory, which is a pretty good play, except I have the Hidden Power Fire, and that's really awesome. Calm Mind, bulky Latias with Hidden Power Fire is pro. Unfortunately for me, though, it doesn't quite KO, and he's going to be able to get off a Whirlwind, which sucks. And, yeah, so I lose my Calm Mind, and he Whirlwinds me out into Gengar. Yay! Gengar's not so bad. I'm just going to sub up because it's like a sub Gengar, because sub Gengars are pretty nice. You just sub on a predicted switch, or I guess a predicted spikes in that case. Actually, I didn't predict that spike, so I predicted a switch. But in any event, yeah, he sets up spikes. I just go for the Shadow Ball now and kill him. And now that I have my sub, now I know I'll be able to get some more damage on whatever he goes into. He goes into a Scizor, which is awesome because I am running the Hidden Power Fire on this guy, and that is awesome because Hidden Power Fire Gengar pawns with Substitute, because so many people switch Scizor in against Gengar. It's ridiculous. I guess they're hoping, you know, try to Bullet Punch or Pursuit, but, you know, when your Gengar has Hidden Power Fire and Substitute, it becomes an amazing Scizor counter. So, yeah, he goes out into Gengar now, he goes out into Heatran against my Gengar. And I go on to Jirachi because I really don't need Jirachi anymore. A burned Jirachi isn't really going to do me any good, so I decided to go out into Jirachi to see what he locks himself into. He goes for the Earth Power. That does kill me after the burn, but, like I said, I was just going into it as death fodder to see what he'd lock himself into. So now that I see he's locked into Earth Power, I go out into Latias, and I'm just going to get up another Calm Mind, because it's a free Calm Mind, because I know he's locked into Earth Power. And yeah, that's pretty sweet for me. And he goes out into Swampert, which means I can Dragon Pulse this guy. I'm not really afraid of Swampert too much. He might have Roar to another Phaser would be weird on his team, but he doesn't. He has the Ice Beam. But then here he gets a crit and a freeze. So I was thinking, this is pretty ridiculous. That sucks balls. And, yeah, it's basically what happens. I'm just going to try to thaw out this turn, but it doesn't happen. He goes for the Surf, I guess predicting the switch, and now I'm just going to switch. I go out into Scizor because this is my bulky Scizor. EV trained in special defense and stuff. It's pretty cool. He ends up going for the Ice Beam this turn, thinking I'd stay in this turn, I guess, which ends up being a pretty bad play for him. But, you know, it wasn't, well, I don't know. So I go for Brick Break because I over-predicted. I thought he'd go out into Heatran predicting my Swords Dance or something, but he doesn't. He ends up just EQing, which ends up doing a lot of damage to my Scizor, but not quite enough for a 2-hit KO, I think. So I'm just going to go for the Swords Dance this turn. This turn he does over-predict again, or he over-predicts and goes for Ice Beam. I guess he was thinking I'd go out into Latias again, but I don't really know why I do that. But he has Ice Beam, and that's pretty cool because that's a free Swords Dance, and now I'm going to Brick Break. But he doesn't die, which kind of makes me sad. And he gets off another Earthquake, which isn't going to quite kill my Scizor either. So we both get near KOs. but the difference is I'm faster, so I'm going to be able to KO him next turn. So I go for the Brick Break, and that's going to take care of his Swampert. Now, he goes out on the Heat Ran, and he predicted a switch into Latias, which is, the obvious play, because, he's probably going to go Fire Blast here. So I go into Latias, get the Thaw out, because, his Fire move will Thaw me. Except I predicted that he'd go for the Dragon Pulse. That was such a great play, because there was, no reason for him not to go for the Dragon Pulse there. I mean, it was so obvious for him to go Flame or Fire Blast, and therefore me switch. So that was a great play for me, and that won me the match right there, because his last Pokemon is Salamence. I do have the Bullet Punch, and I still have +1 attack, so it's going to almost KO the Salamence. He Earthquakes me, but he dies to his Life Orb. So, great game. It was a lot of fun, and, yeah, that was great. So, anyway, I guess I should say something about today's question of the day. So, Heart Gold and Soul Silver has been out for quite a while now, and today's question of the day is, how do you like them so far? I know I asked quite a few questions about Heart Gold and Soul Silver before it was released, but now that it is released, give me your opinions on it. Do you like the game? As for me, I do like Soul Silver and Heart Gold. I thought they were great additions to the series. I mean, I think Nintendo did a really great job at mixing in new content with the remake. I mean, it felt right. I mean, it was they had all the material I wanted in a remake, and they also went above beyond in some areas, and I really liked the new content, so I thought it was a great game. So leave a comment about that, and see you guys next time. Bye.